Do you love Greggs?
Do you want to make your pastries look sexier?
You're in the right place because I've just been and bought these two sexy pasties and I'm going to photograph them using one light. I know you got my last two letters. I wrote the addresses on them perfect. So this is my setup that I'm showing you. I hope you like it. So this is a basic one light setup for me. One light. So whenever you're photographing with a one light setup, you're going to have a lot more drama, and that's because there's going to be a lot more shadow in the image because you've only got one source of light. You can fill in those shadows using anything light, like a bounce card or just a white piece of paper, a white piece of card. Those things will do great, and we'll go through that today. But your main light source is going to be your brightest part of the image. So wherever you're pointing that's going to be what's lit up more, and the shadow will be the opposite side to that. Simple science, really. So whenever you're photographing food with a one light setup, I think it's important just to have a mess about at first. Just mess about and see what's working. That's probably not the advice you're looking for in a YouTube video, but every dish is going to be photographed differently. So I'm going to start off with this higher up light source. This replicates the sun almost, pointing down onto a dish. As you can see there, that is a very sexy image with some very sexy shadows. Some clients will want really dark, sexy, moody pictures like that. Others will want really bright. So you've got to remember who you're shooting for and how they want the images to look. You could even just look at your client's social media feed to see what they usually get from the pictures and try and tie it in with that. For me personally, I think that looks great, and I could end the YouTube video here, but I won't. Another setup that I like to use is called put the light nice and low and point it to the side of the dish. It's really easy to remember. Now, I can already tell you that this is going to create a picture with a hell of a lot of shadow. Because science, there's only light coming in from this side, so we're going to get a lot of shadow to the left. To combat that, we just want to pop something here that can bounce light back into it if we've only got one light source available. So a piece of card or a menu or a piece of white paper, just place it here in order to bounce the light back into the image. One of the things I actually like to use to bounce the light back in is just something everybody carries on their everyday. And it's just one of these. Everybody has it in their pocket, and it's perfect for bouncing light back into the image. So if you don't know science, what's actually happening there is this light's firing and it's filling this whole space with light, and it's putting a lot of light onto this side of this dish and then creating a lot of shadow on this side. This card is then bouncing the light back in and it's filling those shadows in. Because that's not an actual light, it's only bouncing the light back in. It's not bouncing as much light in, so the shadows aren't disappearing completely. They're just being lifted a little bit. So they look really sexy and soft, whereas before they were really harsh and dark. So the last setup that I like to use is called put the light as high as you can above the dish. And what you do is you put the light as high as you can above the dish. And basically what you're doing there with this setup is you're lighting the dish from above. Quite self-explanatory. As you can see in that picture, for dishes like this, it looks absolutely disgusting. Not the food, I can't wait to eat that. But the actual light, it's not going to work on food like this. Where this is going to work is things like bowls of food, bowls of soup, where you need to photograph it from above, or you need to photograph it slightly from above, or just a higher angle in general. That's when it's going to look at its best. If you had food in a deep dish and you're trying to photograph that from the side, you're just going to get shadows from the bowl going across the food. So that's where you want a nice high light source. And that's the three setups that I'll use whenever I'm photographing food with one light on location for a client. I hope you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you, bye.